Thank you, John, for joining me today in what we hope to be a new groundbreaking series. You know, at Truist, John, our purpose is to inspire and build better lives and better communities. And what better time than now to really step out and do so and support our small business clients. As you know, our small business clients and small businesses in the whole United States, period, are the backbone to our economy. So it's super important for us to be there for them and help them manage through this coronavirus pandemic. And I just want to thank you for being with us and joining us today. But before we get started, I really would love to know, how are you personally doing and how's your family doing?
Well, thanks for asking, Dante. I appreciate that. We're doing good. It was a struggle in the beginning. Like a lot of people, we really faced a challenge early on, and then we got together, and through this time, we actually got stronger together. We really worked on a lot of things of being a stronger family, of getting through this together, of being optimistic, being positive. It was an interesting time, but it was also a really positive and productive and incredible learning opportunity for all of us.
Well, that's fantastic. Great to hear. And we're all learning. And if you just put the current events aside and just focus on COVID-19, it's just been unbelievable what's happening to the economy, what's happening from a health perspective, what's happening from a social perspective. It's just really changing the world. And it's been interesting just to follow and be a part of and to remain positive. You know, John, I was taking a look and I wrote down a couple of statistics that came out of J.D. Power that I just want to mention to you and reference it and ask you a question about. So I was writing it down this morning. 57% of Americans feel some level of stress regarding their finances. 19% applied for unemployment. And then you have 7% that reported permanent job loss. So those clients are really struggling right now. Just love to know what you would have to say to those clients and those people in our country that are struggling that might be helpful.
We need to recognize the challenges that exist. Let's not sugarcoat the situation. Being a positive leader is not ignoring the reality of what's happening. It's about knowing that you have to stay positive through it. They did research at Duke University on optimists, and they found that optimists work harder, get paid more, and are more likely to succeed in business and sports. And what they found was that because these optimists believed in a brighter and better future, they then took the actions necessary to create it. It became a self-fulfilling prophecy. Right now, more than ever, what you believe will determine what you create. We have to be positive during this time. And I don't mean Pollyanna positive. This is not about seeing the world through rose-colored glasses. This is knowing that you have the power to overcome the thorns. We're not positive because life is easy. We're positive because life is hard. And so we stay positive through these challenges. We find a way forward. And in doing so, we're able to rally our team, to serve our customers, to create success together. And that's what it's going to take right now. It's going to take positive leadership that does those very things.
Yeah, you're absolutely right that positive leadership is super important. And the together, use the word together, which I think is meaningful. We coming together and standing for positivity is super important. That same poll, John, had some interesting stats around what's coming forward. So it's 28% of the people in that poll thought that the crisis was going to last another 3 to 5 months. Another 28%, John, thought the crisis was going to last for another 12 months. So as they're preparing for managing and leading through that crisis, what should business owners be doing today to be prepared for that?
Well, when this hit in March, I called it March Madness. And in March Madness, you survive. And then the goal is to advance. And then you adapt. And then from there, you want to thrive on the other side of this. So right now, for many of us, we just want to survive and keep our business going. But then we want to advance and move forward and get better along the way. And to do that, we do have to adapt. We have to find new ways of doing things, new ways to reach our customers, new ways to keep them safe in some instances. So we have to make sure that we're adapting. But the goal of this is to make sure that we thrive on the other side of it. And so we're doing all these things to get through this time, but also then to thrive because of this time. And so what I'm telling people right now is you have to win today. Like, we can't focus too much on the future. We have to win every day. And if you win today, and then you win the next day, and you win the day after that, you will win the future. But it starts with winning each day, staying positive with your team, understanding the challenges, understanding the reality, but then making sure that we're moving forward together in a productive way.
John, as you think about winning each day, take some small business owners that start off super optimistic and super positive of managing through the crisis, leading through the crisis, and they see themselves coming out of it, and then all of a sudden they reach burnout or another mid-crisis event happens, and then they start to go right back down into that negative valley of, wow, here's something else. I don't have enough energy to get back out of it again. Why is this happening again? I thought this was over. What would you tell someone that is in that cycle, kind of that second round of the fight? Because in many cases, you're going to have a second round, a third round, or a fourth round that you're going to have to manage through in order to get that championship belt of success with your business. And so what might you tell that small business owner who may find themselves in round 3 or 4, how to dig out of that?
We don't get burned out because of what we do. We get burned out because we forget why we do it. Purpose now is more important than ever. Your purpose is greater than your challenges. You have to focus on your vision and your mission. Where are we going? Yes, we were here yesterday, but where are we going now? Yes, we had this challenge, but what is our vision as we move forward? Keep your vision alive. Most marathon runners do not quit the marathon in the first mile because you're just getting started, and they don't quit in the last mile. Even though you've been running the longest and the farthest, they don't give up in that last mile. Why is it? Because they can see it. Because they can see it, they keep on moving towards it. Most people quit in the 20th mile. That is where they're physically tired and then mentally drained. They lose their vision, so they give up. So we have to make sure we're keeping that vision alive and then keeping our purpose alive, remembering why we do what we do. And that purpose will drive us and help us overcome the challenges that we face. And so talk about your purpose. Talk about your why. Talk about your vision. It's not impossible to stay positive. It's our purpose that often drives our positivity.
John, let's talk about your business. And you and I have talked about how you lead your company. And so one of the things that I really respect is that you don't really have a lens of being a business owner as it relates to your team. You don't really have a discipline of bossship. You have a philosophy and a doctrine around leadership. Why don't you talk to us about why leadership and showing up from a leadership perspective is so important, not to get that confused with just business ownership or running the business?
Because it's not just about owning your business, it's about leading your business and leading others. Right now, people are discouraged. They're fearful. They're uncertain. And we need leadership now more than ever. We need positive leadership who shows the way, leads the way, and rallies people towards the way. And it's the positive leaders that will be able to rally their team to create a brighter and better future. Again, people are fearful and scared. And so you have to listen to them. You have to understand the challenges that they're facing, what they're feeling. You have to be empathetic as a leader to understand that. But then you have to lift them up. You have to encourage them. So that way you can actually create great success going forward. And by doing that, you're going to create more success for your business, but you're also going to empower your team to know that they can overcome their challenges, that they can go through difficult times as well and get better on their own. Alan Mulally, I think about him a lot. You know, when he took over Ford in 2006, they were losing like $14 billion. He had them profitable in a few short years. It was one of the greatest leadership feats in history. And everyone was very negative within the company. It didn't look like they were going to be successful, but his leadership transformed that organization, and he saved thousands of jobs through his leadership. And he rallied people together. He built great teams. And then together they would go on to transform Ford and create a brighter and better future for our country. So it's incredible what one positive leader can do during a challenging time. And so we need leadership more than ever.
John, a key word that you placed in that was positive leadership. Why is positive leadership so crucial right now? Because there's a difference between leadership and then positive leadership. I want to focus in on that positive aspect of it.
Because pessimists do not change the world. Throughout history, it's the optimists, it's the believers, the dreamers, the doers that have the greatest impact, that transform their teams and organizations and make the greatest impact. So right now more than ever, it's positive leadership that we need. There's so much negativity, there's so much uncertainty, there's so much fear. How do we overcome fear? With faith. What do fear and faith have in common? They both believe in a future that hasn't happened yet. Fear believes in a negative future. Faith believes in a positive future. And if neither has happened yet, why wouldn't we choose to believe in the positive future? So it's the positive leaders that believe in the brighter and better future, and then they inspire their teams to believe as well. Leadership is a transfer of belief. So we have to transfer our belief to our teams to be successful.
And John, that positive leadership is contagious. It's energizing. Even talking to you today, I just feel more inspired. So it's an attraction point. It's a magnet. I'm curious, John, I know you're a big man of vision. What does it mean to share your vision forward with your team?
You gather your team together and you talk about where you're going. You talk about the vision for the road ahead. Here's where we're going together. And you also get their input. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go personally? Where do we need to go collectively? And when each person understands how they can contribute to the vision of where you're going, they'll be more engaged. So it's important to also talk about how they contribute to the vision and also what does it mean to them. So it's not just some ethereal idea. It's where are we really going? What do we really want to create? What do we want to build? What success do we want to have going forward? And you really get concrete about what that looks like. And when each person understands what it looks like, how they can contribute to it, and what it means to them, now you have a team that is really engaged, very energized, and ready to achieve and realize the vision.
John, according to Barlow, the majority of small businesses have had some negative financial deterioration. And if you think about that, and 1 in 5 of those are looking to really not even return to business. And so that's going to have an impact on many people. A lot of our ownerships of our companies are owned by folks that were near retirement. So now they're going to be not going to be able to retire. They're going to have delayed retirement, and unfortunately maybe have to come up with some other plans. What would you say to those individuals that find themselves in that place?
I would say that we can't control the events in our life, but we can control how we respond to those events. And so often that determines the outcome. I lost my job during the dot-com crash. I know what it's like to struggle. Didn't know how I was going to pay the bills. Had no insurance for my family. The scariest, most fearful time in my life. I also owned restaurants in my past. I second mortgaged my home and put $20,000 on credit cards to open up this restaurant. It was a pretty scary time as well. There were many times I wasn't sure if we were going to make it. And I learned that grit is the number one predictor and factor of success. And there's a formula for grit I want to share. It's inspired by vision and purpose. We already talked about that. It is fueled by optimism and belief. It is powered by faith and hope. It is driven by love. If you love it, you won't fear it. Bring that love to what you do, that love to your customer, that love for your business. Bring that love and you won't fear it. So continue driving with the love. It is revived by resilience, kept alive by stubbornness. So now more than ever, we need to be a little stubborn. Like we are not going to quit. We are not going to give up. It doesn't look good, but we're going to continue to work hard, move forward, do the right things, and trust, truly trust in the outcome. We're not going to allow doubt to set in or discouragement to set in. We don't give up because it's hard. We give up because we get discouraged. We're going to continue to move forward, and that grit will drive us forward, keep us going. And I truly believe if we do that, on the other side of this, we'll have success. So everything that we can do with grit in our heart, with the passion we have, with the purpose that's driving us, with the love that fuels us, if we truly have that, our grit will make us successful. And I've been through it. I've lived it. So I truly understand. And I understand what people are facing. And I am right there with them. And that's why I'm so glad we're doing this, because I want to encourage people to keep going. Do not give up.
So John, you're my guy. You and I both were born with an extra dose of optimism. So we're optimistaholics. I know some that are watching this right now are saying, "How do you wake up every day super positive? How do you really manage through these trying times and remain so positive?" So I'm just curious for you specifically, what do you do to feed yourself in order to stay as positive as you stay and remain and sustain and thrive through these unfortunate times? Just because there's some people out there that says there's no way you can be that positive every day.
I want people to understand that I am not naturally positive. I actually go towards the negative. I have to work really hard at being positive. I think that's why I become a good teacher, because I understand what it's like to have to overcome the negativity and the adversity and the challenges and the pessimistic negative thinking. But you can feed the positive each day. You can weed the negative, feed the positive. And when you do, you can rewire your brain from negative to positive. And that's what I've done. I wake up each morning and I practice gratitude. I say what I'm thankful for. I take a thank you walk. And the research shows you can't be stressed and thankful at the same time. And so by doing that, I'm flooding my brain and body with these positive emotions that uplift me rather than the stress hormones that slowly drain me. And so every day I'm feeding the positive. I'm looking at my challenges and I'm focusing though on my opportunities. What can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? How can I get better because of this? I lost 90% of my revenue as a business because of the coronavirus, but I didn't get down. Well, I want to be honest. Actually, I got down at first. I did get pessimistic at first. And then I said to myself, is this going to help me create my future? Is this going to help me help others? I knew I needed to stay positive. I needed to live what I write about. And so every day I showed up, I said, I'm going to win today. I'm not going to worry about tomorrow. I'm going to win today. I'm going to stay positive. And I had this quote that I love that really fueled me. It says that stars shine the brightest in the darkness and positive people shine the most through adversity. And I knew every day I had a choice. I could rise and shine or rise and whine. And I had to get up and rise and shine in order to create the success I wanted to create. It was amazing. By doing that, I was able to find opportunities in all of this. And we have leadership training. We created our first virtual leadership training event that we were doing physically. We adapted, we innovated. We had 150 people for our first leadership training that we did virtually. It was a huge success. And we would have never done that if it wasn't for this adversity, for this challenge. So you can learn, you can grow. So the idea is feed yourself every day so you can feed others. And if you don't have it, you can't share it. So more than ever, make sure you're talking to yourself instead of listening to yourself. If you listen to yourself, you hear all the negative, the fear, the doubts, and the complaints. If you talk to yourself, you can feed yourself with the words and the encouragement that you need to keep on moving forward. And it may sound corny, but it's really not. It is very powerful, and it helps you move forward in a very positive and powerful way.
Those are amazing thoughts. Thanks for sharing that with us, John. I love to ask you a little bit about work-life balance, and really I believe in work-life rhythm personally, but I'm curious, small business owners, they have so much requirements to be able to be successful as a small business, and particularly today when the environment and the economy is tough and they're trying to recover, but it's super important to have balance. So maybe share with us on maybe some experiences that have brought you to a place where you're able to keep balance as a small business owner, because that's going to help you run the business better.
Well, you said it best. I don't believe in balance. I believe in work-life rhythm. And right now, we're not going to have a lot of balance. We are trying to create our success in our business. We're trying to get through this. We're trying to survive. So there's not a lot of balance when you're going through these challenging times. You will do whatever you can to be successful. The key is rhythm. So it's knowing that we're going to work really hard now to be a success, and then we're going to take a break. Or for the rhythm, I got to take a break on Sunday or Saturday and make sure that I go really hard during the week, but I got to take that one day so that I have that rhythm of rest and regeneration and restoration to fuel myself, to keep going. So you know that you need to take time to rest, to recharge, so you can move forward. For each person, it's going to be different. For me, I have to take that one day to recharge, or else I don't have enough in the tank to keep going. But then also each month, where can I find time in the month to take a couple days off to have that rhythm? But it's knowing that you may be spending 16-hour days right now or whatever it takes to be successful. And that's the reality of the situation. It's nice to say work-life balance, take time, but we don't have a lot of time often. And when that happens, the rhythm is the key, recharging is the key. But you have to be intentional about it. If you're not intentional, then it's not going to happen.
Hey, John, I just really want to thank you for being here today with us. Every time I talk to you, I'm just re-energized. Every time I read one of your books, it just inspires me. And I really wanted to end today really focused on a question around purpose. Because what I've found is any time that I've been in a challenging time, if I just remember why I'm here, that helps me manage through. So at Truist, I reflect on our purpose to inspire and build better lives and better communities. And it helps me get through. Personally, my own personal purpose is to be a dealer of hope, helping other people excel. And so I try to really focus in on that to help me remember why I'm here. Talk to me about your purpose and how you may zero in on your purpose during those difficult times to manage through.
I reached out to my various clients and said, how can I help? How can I encourage you? And I received a lot of requests back. Will you Zoom with our team? Will you speak with our team? We don't have a budget, but will you do that? And I saw my purpose during this time was greater than anything. It wasn't about dollar signs. It was really about truly living this mission and purpose. And I went all the way back to when I first started speaking. I gave 80 free talks when I first started. And so I was thinking like a rookie once again. I was living my purpose. I was back to the beginning, just helping and loving and serving and showing people that I care about them. And that's what I was doing. It was so energizing actually to do this. I didn't make money, but I was energizing people. And I knew I was planting seeds of hope and encouragement. And I knew if I planted those seeds and just took care of my clients and served them and lived my purpose, that great things would happen. And it was amazing the response that I got from people. And I tell people because I know that once you're living your purpose and remind yourself of the purpose, you're more positive, you're more focused, you're more energized. And customers sense that. Your business relationships sense that. Your team senses that. And then everybody works with more energy and passion and creates more success. And so I can tell you, purpose is the fuel that will drive us where we need to go, and it powers our positivity. So when we talk about positive leadership, it's really also about purposeful leadership. And serving others is always a big part of a positive leader's purpose.
So John, one thing about being an American is that we are Americans and not Americans. And so we always focus on what we can do, and typically that drives us to success. But there's some things that we can't do if we want to be successful, or shouldn't do, as it relates to really managing through this recovery. So what are some things that we probably just shouldn't do, can't do, if we really want to be successful in recovery?
If you want to be successful as a leader in a team, you can't complain. And I don't mean justified complaining. I mean toxic complaining, mindless complaining that doesn't help you or your team move forward. It will actually sabotage you and cause you to focus on where you are instead of what you want to create and where you want to be. We also can't allow negativity to sabotage our team. We can't allow that one person who really doesn't want to come to work, doesn't want to serve the customers, doesn't want to be there. We can't allow that one person to sabotage the team. One person can't make a team, but one person could break a team. So we want to make sure that we're addressing that. As a leader and team, we can't have poor communication. Where there's avoidant communication, negativity will fill it. So we have to make sure that we are really communicating a lot during this time. We have to over communicate. And I think one of the biggest mistakes leaders make is they allow communication to just not happen, or they do a poor job of it. They think people understand what they need to do, and people don't really understand. And we also can't have clutter. We can't have complexity. Now more than ever, as a leader and team, we have to have clarity. Clarity leads to focused action. Here's the problem, this is the solution, and here's how we're going to create it together.
John, I'm real curious. I've heard you talk about some things about moving forward, and those things are super important. But there are things that could hold us back. Do you have any insights or thoughts on what are those things that could hold us back?
I'm so glad you asked that, because I just wrote about the 5 Ds in a new book I wrote called The Garden. And these are the 5 Ds that will sabotage us if we let them. And the first D is doubt. There's a lot of doubt right now about the future. And doubt can set in and really cause us to be discouraged. And so one of the second Ds is discourage. We don't give up because it's hard. We give up because we get discouraged. And so often it's the distortion. It's the lies that we talked about. Those lies that come in, those negative thoughts, the fear that comes in, that's really not based on truth. They come in and they discourage us and they create doubt. So those 3 Ds really can wreak havoc on us. And that leads to a 4th D, which is distraction. We often get distracted by things that really don't matter. We watch the news, we watch all the negativity, and we allow that to sabotage us instead of focusing on what matters most. Distractions are the enemy of greatness. So we have to beware of distractions. And then there's division. Division sets in. And the word anxious literally means divided. And right now there's a lot of anxiety. People feel divided. Think about it. There's been a lot of social isolation going on, and people feel more divided than ever. So how do we overcome these 5 Ds? Well, instead of doubt, we trust. Instead of distortion, lies, we speak truth to the lies. Instead of discouragement, we encourage. The word encourage means to put courage into. We need to put courage into our team, courage into ourselves. We need to encourage ourselves. Instead of distractions, we focus on what matters most. And what is that? Relationships, our team, our family, our customers, relationships, and loving people. We do that, we're going to build great relationships and we'll build great success. And instead of division, we need unity. Now more than ever, our country seems divided in a lot of ways. And we need to bring people back towards unity. People act like we're separate teams. No, we are one team. And we need to be united together. And once we realize we are one team, we will create amazing things together. We are better together. And then together, we will accomplish amazing things. But we need to realize it's unity that makes us successful, not division.
Your words and insights are making a difference today, so we thank you for sharing a little bit of your time with us. We thank you for all that you do. Keep doing what you're doing. I love you. Again, I appreciate you being on Inspired Business. And I just ask if you have any more last words to share with us today.
Hey, thank you, Dante. I appreciate you. I appreciate Truist. I love the way you serve others, care about others, and I just love your purpose. Inspired Business is everything, because right now, people do need to be inspired. I want to share this quick little story to close on this because I think it's really powerful. I was called a few years ago by Evan Spiegel from Snapchat. Evan's the founder and CEO of the company, and they were going through a really tough time. He read my book, The Power of Positive Leadership, and he asked me to come speak to his team. So on my way there, I asked him, what do you want me to talk about? The cost benefits of positivity? You want me to share the data, the research? Because these are really smart people. So I was thinking he wanted a lot of data and analytics. He said, John, just help us stay positive. We've got Instagram coming at us. Wall Street is really giving us a hard time. The media is trying to destroy us. We've got all these forces on the outside that are coming at us. We just need to stay positive. So I talked about the very things that we talked about right now. I told them, focus on the inside, not the outside. Stay positive on the inside. Build a strong team. Build a great culture, and you will create success on the outside. And that's what they've done. Over the last few years, they've done that. He's talked about that in his various articles he's been interviewed on, and he talks about the importance of positivity in business. And once you think that way and you lead your team that way, you'll have more success. Thank you so much, Dante. I appreciate it.